Nation, it's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and even though it is late, I have 12:23 a.m., but you know what? We stayed live for the entire Raiders-Seahawks game, and coming up, we're doing a late post-game reaction to that. We're going to talk about the offense. We're going to talk about the defense. Tomorrow, I will be breaking down some of my biggest winners and losers from the game. Make sure you're subscribed because that video is going to be coming out bright and early tomorrow. I know that this game ended in a tie. And only that guy over there is probably happy about it. But I think at the end of the day, I'm not going to get upset about Raiders fans not being happy for what they saw tonight. Because I thought the Raiders starters in second string, thought they kind of got outworked and kind of got pushed around a little bit by Seattle. I thought we were undisciplined. I don't think we did a good job setting the edge. A lot of penalties early on. A lot of undisciplined football. Yes, this game ended in a tie. But it ended in a tie because of Miller time. And Cam Miller, I thought, did a hell of a job coming out here and really showing that quarterback two battle, it's a real thing. I think a quarterback two battle between Aidan O'Connell and Cam Miller is a real thing because I'm sorry. I know the numbers are 18 of 30 for 205 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But Aidan O'Connell tonight was bad. And they gave him a lot of opportunities. I think another stat that's maybe not going to show up in this sheet as much as you realize, that one interception, that first one, Dante Thornton Jr. beat his corner, and I think if a quarterback that had an above-average NFL arm, honestly just an average NFL arm, is able to make that throw, that's a 60-something-plus yard touchdown for Dante Thornton Jr. Instead, Aidan underthrows it by about 10 yards, and it ends up being a pick. I was hoping to see Adam more of O'Connell, but I think you can clearly see that he lacks in certain departments. And Chip Kelly needs a quarterback that's not mobile, but at least has the threat to run. And Aidan, I'm sorry, from bad training camp, bad mock game, and he had a really, really rough game tonight. Cam Miller, though, on the other hand, I thought he was really impressive. Thought he ran the football effectively when asked to. 6 of 7, 76 yards and a touchdown. Had a 41-yard strike to Cedric Jackson. And what's so great about that touchdown throw was the pump fake to set it up. That was a veteran type of move. Dare I say a Tom Brady type of level of move of really baiting the safety in with the pump fake. Got him to come in, lofted one up, and it's a nice pitch and catch there, which got the Raiders quite a bit of momentum. And I was really happy from what I saw out of Cam Miller and what I saw from that Raiders team in the fourth quarter, really truly never giving up. Now, the question I have for all of y'all that I want to know down below, who do you think was the best player? And I want you to answer this more from just the Raiders side of it. The best player for Raiders tonight. Was it somebody on the offensive side of the football? Was it somebody on the defensive side of the football? My answer is going to be coming up after this YouTube ad break. I'll say it like this. The player that's first coming to my mind looking at that question, I thought Thomas Booker, the defensive tackle that the Raiders traded for, I thought he looked great tonight. Great interior pressure. Loved the hustle that he was making. I thought Jamal Adams, thought he looked pretty damn good. Cam Miller, you're probably going to have to throw into that equation as well. Unfortunately, there's probably more bad than good. I'll even say this. I thought Geno Smith played well. If you look at the box score, you're not going to realize that Geno had a drop from Dante Thornton and a drop from Jacoby Myers. I thought the offense was able to move the football at early pass play there to Trey Tucker. But the Raiders traded for Thomas Booker. They gave up Ja'Cory Bennett. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to try to watch that game a little bit more closely. Not tonight. I'll try to do it tomorrow at some point. But from what I saw out of Thomas Booker, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Adam Butler, where he might be not the fastest player. He might not be the biggest DT, but he's got a really quick first step, and that showed up tonight. Another player from a stat standpoint that I thought played pretty well, Chris Collier. Honestly, Dylan Laube. I thought Laube looked pretty solid tonight. He had a nice little touchdown. 5 carries, 34 yards. There was one run where he was running right into the back of the offensive lineman, realized nothing was there, kicked it out to the left side, picked up that 24 yards there on the ground. Cedric Jackson, he had 4 catches for 76 yards. That 41-yarder from Cam Miller. Alex Bachman, I thought he had himself a pretty solid game. And early on, you could tell, Aidan O'Connell focuses on Bachman. And before, I didn't know if he was going to end up making this roster. I think based on just the usage overall tonight, Bachman's probably going to be a dude that we got to look at and say, yeah, that's probably going to be a guy that makes that 53. For a guy like Tommy Mellott, I am getting nervous about what they think about him. Philip Dorsett, he had 3 grabs tonight for 36 yards, coming off another pretty solid performance. He had 2 touchdowns in that Raider mock game. For Dorsett, though, it's going to be an uphill battle climbing to make this team. Drew Lock did throw an interception. That interception went to Isaiah Paul-Amal, who overall, I thought Paul-Amal had some good opportunities in this game. Had a missed tackle here and there. A lot of missed tackles overall in this game. You want to be able to see him come in and clean it up a little bit. But the Raiders did end up fighting and clawing. They were down 16-3 at halftime. And then, they were even down 23-13 at one point and kept on fighting, kept on clawing. They didn't give up. But I can't imagine Pete Carroll's going to be very happy when they review this game, and nor should they be. The Raiders did not play well. Let's be honest. The Raiders did not play well today. That's plain and simple. Now, some of you are like, Mitch, Raiders were bad tonight. Why do I want to buy a jersey? The reason why you want to buy a Raiders jersey is because they're on sale. And at the end of the day, I'm a man that loves a good deal. And if you're trying to get these Raiders jerseys, go to chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. Whether you need a Hall of Fame player or whether you just need a guy who's on the team right now, from Genty to there's even JPJ, Colton Miller, there's Tyree Wilson jerseys, ton of jerseys. Chatsports.com/Raiders jerseys. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to transition to the part of the show which is probably my favorite for post-game. It's seeing what the nation has to say. Laube is in, and Malat is unfortunately out. I actually think that both of these guys could end up getting cut. And if it was up to me, I can understand why, somebody would want to keep Laube after that game. But I think also you got to look at the usage, other players there. And I don't think either of these guys might make the roster based off of what I saw tonight. Let's go to Mega Cooler. This team definitely needs more work. What should the Raiders prioritize in fixing before the season starts? I think we need better interior depth at the defensive line position. I think we need more help in the secondary and the ability to cover. The offensive line, the depth on the O-line looked bad tonight there. Munford was really, really rough to watch. Caleb Rogers was bad. Charles Grant, I thought, was bad. Jordan Meredith, JPJ playing way later than what I would have liked. And even, they didn't even play as well I was hoping for. I wanted to come away from this game feeling a lot better about the Raiders, and I don't want to freak out. Because I can remember when Josh McDaniels was the head coach and we went 4-0 in the preseason. But at the same time, as a Raiders fan, when you put your head on the pillow tonight, you're going to be more concerned than excited based on what you saw tonight. Paul, what up, man? Seattle didn't start any starters tonight. Thoughts? I expected more from our guys early on. And I expected more from our defensive line. I expected more from our offensive line. I expected more for our starters and a lot of our second-string guys up against a lot of their second-string guys. And, those first few drives, Seattle was running the football. I want to say it was 68 rushing yards the first 2 drives by Seattle, and their offensive line with backups and an offensive line that was one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL last season, they were pushing around our guys, and that's concerning to me. And, you got to look at what the Raiders did really bad last season. You want to be able to clean that up a little bit. Missed tackles was a big part of that. So how about this question here? What are y'all more concerned about? Are you more concerned about the offense after watching that game? Or are you more concerned about the defense watching that game? I'll tell you this right now. I'm probably going to go, I'm more concerned with the defense, and it's only because the offense to me did move the football a little bit on that first drive. It got stalled, but you got a brand new offense. Chip Kelly needs a guy that can stretch the field. Our defense up against backups. Yes, they ended up getting an interception. Isaiah Paul-Amal did. But I'm going to go defense is the answer just because I thought the starters on defense didn't play up to the caliber that I expected. I expected a lot more. What up, Dylan Erickson? Cam showed up. He keeps that up. It's a new quarterback, too. I don't know if he will be the QB2. I think you at least got to have the conversation about the battle and the compete mentality. But there has to be a thought process of, do you want to throw him into the fire too early? And I think one of the positives of being able to keep Aidan O'Connell your quarterback too is if you keep him your QB2, that allows Cam Miller to develop. And I think what we saw tonight is Cam's got some tools to work with. He just needs to be able to polish those tools a little bit more. And I don't want to ruin that progress and that growth as a young quarterback. God forbid if Geno got hurt, throwing him into the fire a little bit. So I'm hoping that Aidan plays better. But also, this is the third different offense that Aidan O'Connell's had to learn in 3 years. Like, that's also not a very easy thing to do. Let's go to Jersey boy. Munford is trash. He's gone tomorrow. You still got to hang on to him. It's the preseason, but you're not going to see me putting Thayer Munford in another 53-man roster. I mean, he was really bad. And I hate saying that about guys that we follow and we cheer for. You want Munford to succeed. But, I mean, we also got to be able to keep it real here. I got to be able to do my job, and I want people that watch this show know that I'm always going to be honest. And Munford was rough tonight. You know, he was rough tonight. What up, Diaz? You think they switch JPJ to center next game? I don't. I think tonight's kind of them saying, hey, we want to see Jordan Meredith at center. We want Jackson Powers-Johnson to play right guard because JPJ was playing in the third quarter. Like, JPJ was playing in the third quarter. They clearly want him to get more reps. Alex Kappa, though, not being 100% healthy, he didn't play at all tonight, I believe. I don't remember seeing him out there. And he was battling an injury the other day at practice. But, I mean, if JPJ's out there at right guard for that long, I do wonder if Kappa is healthy. Like, does he play? I mean, JPJ did not play well tonight. I expect more out of Jackson Powers-Johnson. I would have given him a C grade. Let's go to Joshy B. Do you think they played AOC so much to try and showcase him for a trade? Well, if they tried to showcase him for a trade, they failed miserably tonight. And if they wanted to trade him, you should have traded him after last season when his stock was at the absolute highest it was, and that's what I was trying to tell people for months. But I think they were trying to get AOC comfortable because to me, he just clearly doesn't look comfortable. And maybe it's, again, he's learning the new system. Maybe, you know, Chip Kelly also, like, he needs, Chip Kelly's system is predicated on just having a quarterback that is just a threat to run. You don't need to be mobile, but AOC has, you know, a weak arm. You need to be able to stretch the ball down the field. Doesn't have the ability to run all that well. He was staring down Alex Bachman. I think the Raiders wanted to see more out of Aidan because they expect more out of Aidan and because he hasn't been looking good the past few weeks. And you kind of saw that tonight. What up, Mojave? How worried should we be about the O-line? Genty couldn't go anywhere. You should always be worried about the offensive line. And after the way that they played today, it might be a little bit more of a concern, but that's kind of the fear when you draft a running back. It had nothing to do with Genty. Like, Genty could not have done anything tonight, and they just, if you don't block, your guys aren't going to find running lanes, right? I think Saquon Barkley is a great example. I look at Saquon at the Giants, Saquon at the Eagles. Different running back, different offensive line. King Shab, will the Raiders starter play the next game? I flippin' hope so, King Shab. Because to me, there's no other preseason game that I care about more than next week against San Francisco 49ers. And you know what? If you don't already know, we will be live here on the Raiders Report. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on because we're going to have some fun next preseason game. Let's go to Show S. And if you weren't watching live, we're going to give away over $1,000 tonight. We're probably going to give away over $1,000 next week, so make sure you pull up. Show, which player on offense and defense would you cut after watching tonight's game? Oh, man, oh, man. Tomorrow, again, I'm going to do winners and losers. I got to sit back, and I think when you make a statement like this is you got to go back and you got to watch some of the film. You gotta make proper decisions, but Trey Taylor played really bad tonight, and I hate saying that because Trey's one of the guys I root for hardest on this team. He had a lot of missed tackles, a lot of missed opportunities. JT Woods had himself a really, really rough day today. Matt Jones was getting cooked in coverage, but I respected his hustle early on. The problem, there's a lot of players that you expected more out of. Like, the amount of guys that didn't set the edge is going to be something that we'll go back and we'll look at, no doubt. Aidan had a bad game tonight. What up, Deuce? We're going to give Pete more than one game, right? Vodka got me optimistic. I mean, there's no way I'm not going to be overly optimistic or under-optimistic based on preseason football. But I think what you can look at is the fundamentals, penalties, just stuff like that, and that didn't look great tonight. And there was a lot of mistakes early on, a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes early on by players that you're kind of relying on not to make those mistakes at this point. Luke, did AOC have a bad camp? Look sloppy. I mean, he has not looked good for a few weeks, from what I understand. The mock game, he was the worst quarterback in that game. He did have some good practices early on. And during those practices, the Raiders, and I said this in some of my videos, the Raiders are really focusing on short routes. And, like, that's where Aidan specializes, 5 yards to 10 yards. If you're trying to stretch the ball down the field, though, it's tough when your quarterback is, again, you got to realize what Aidan is. He is an accurate quarterback. But if we're talking about arm strength, he's in like the 20th, 25th percentile of arm strength probably in the NFL. And mobility, he's in the bottom 5% of that. And we just need guys that have a little bit more ability, and I'm hoping, Geno's going to be able to bring that to the table. But, AOC looked like a quarterback that's in a system that he doesn't belong in, and it's the third system that he's learned in 3 years. Like, it was a rough game, but at the same time, I will stick up for Aidan and say it's his third different system in 3 different years. Like, that's just not easy. It's not. Now, appreciate each and every one of y'all again for staying live with us. It's been a late night. We've been trucking along. We've been live for almost 6 hours at this point, which is pretty remarkable now that I'm saying that out loud. Almost live for 6 hours. I had a hell of a time tonight, and I really do appreciate that. Tomorrow, for those that do not know, our preseason Week 1 recap live show, it's going to start at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Plus, it's Friday. Happy hour is a crazy thing to attack tomorrow, but I hope this, the 1,700 people that are still watching, I'll consider y'all my real ones. I'm going to try to do happy hour tomorrow. And if I'm trying, I hope you guys try along with me. Tomorrow's going to be an interesting day because I know I got to be here in a few hours. So hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed. Overall, I was a little bit disappointed in the overall performance that we got tonight from the Raiders, but hoping that it gets cleaned up, hoping it gets better moving forward. I think that's all you can hope for. Hope.